In this video, we're giving you a detailed up-close pouring structure when using the April Brewer. Welcome, my name is Patrick Rolfe and this is Coffee with April. With this episode, we're doing something that you all have been requesting for a long time. We're just taking an up-close detail shot on the actual pouring structure using the April Brewer. So without further ado, we're just going to jump straight into the actual pouring structure. So we're going to walk you through exactly how we do the pouring structure here, starting with rinsing the paper filter and then actually just doing the brew. So if you look really closely here, you can actually see that this is the fourth generation now, I think, of the paper filter. It fits perfectly into our plastic brewers. We made a few alterations to make sure that it's basically sitting up as good as possible. So we're rinsing the water. We always have a little bit of water in the base of the brewer, so we always can tilt this to make sure that water goes out. Then we're popping the brewer on the server. This is going to be a classic 200 grams pour here at April. Before we start, even though you see it looks pretty level as it is now, we're just going to give it a quick shake to make sure that it's even more level. And from here, we're just going to pour pretty much. So the first pour here is going to be a 60-40 pour. And the key thing here is really just saturation. So I'm looking at the coffee bed, making sure everything becomes wet. 60 grams in a circle, 100 grams in a center. That's pretty much it, right? Again, the whole purpose here of, for example, not doing a bloom and just pouring in 100 grams at the same time, it's just really covering all of that coffee uniformly with water as soon as possible. So rather than sticking to any specific pattern, you just look at the coffee bed and make sure to cover all of that coffee as soon as you can. Now, second pour is at 35 seconds. And we're doing the same thing here, right? So again, we're making sure to cover all of that coffee one more time. Finishing up there, and then we're done. So really simple pouring structure here. And the reason for the pouring structure is to uniformly cover the coffee throughout the two different pours, right? And from here, we're basically not going to do anything else. We're just going to let all of this water go through the coffee. And you're going to see that the taste to come out of this is a really balanced, well-structured coffee. And then if you want a longer/shorter contact time or total brew time, you just regulate the grind size, right? So up or down, up or down. The pour we're doing is basically 10 grams per second. So 100 grams within 10 seconds, right? It's pretty straightforward. And then we're looking at total brew times a little bit depending on the coffee. Right now we're brewing in natural processed age 17 from the Volcán Azul farm in Costa Rica. So this is going to go through a little bit faster, just naturally due to the processing method and due to this coffee just in general. So we're looking at a total brew time just above 2 minutes. Obviously, if you're looking for a stronger coffee, you just go a little bit finer on the grind size. But we still recommend you stick with the pouring structure in general. Now, we're going to at a later point show you a few different videos with different pouring structures as well. But this is kind of our go-to and the pouring structure that we believe fits the best together with the brewer, right? And the key thing here is, as you can see, is to have the water go through uniformly throughout the coffee bed, right? And what you see, you're going to have just a natural flat level of coffee, a little bit regardless of any kind of additional movement, right? So we don't use spoons, we don't take the brewer and kind of shake it, we just let the water draw through. And here at 230, we're pretty much done. And from there, we can lift up the brewer. And here we have a cup of coffee. So as you can see, a very simple way of brewing, but a way of brewing that generates a very balanced tasting cup of coffee. For those of you that kind of paid extra attention, you saw we have a new paper filter, which is not to be released yet. It's still in the kind of QC process, and we expect to launch this later in the year. So stay tuned for that. And with that, we want to thank all of our Patreon supporters, all of our subscribers. As always, it's great to have you watching, and we're always very open to your feedbacks and your comments. So if you have any, please share your favorite recipe below or something like that. And with that, we just want to wish you a great day and thank you for watching. We want to give a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. It's because of you that we are able to continue to make these videos. And we want you all to feel free to always come with suggestions and ideas on the content that you want to see, because we are doing this for you and because of you. Thank you from all of us here at April.